I'm just, oh, I see the bosses here. The two bosses, Lori and Aaron are the two bosses.
Well, this boss is going to have to say adios and catch you on the YouTube. Thank you so much, Aaron, for recording today.
Thank you, Lori and Aaron.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Have a good day.
Thank you.
So
Well,
we're
anyway,
on air.
looks like we have to stop fooling around and dreaming about when am I coming out, because I'm really dreaming to come out to Eastern Long Island. But anyway, we have a lot of news to talk about. Um, I don't know. I don't know if to say that I'm depressed, or that this is a good sign, but it seems like we're getting closer to a hostage exchange, prisoner exchange, whatever you want to call it. And from what it seems, is that 33 of our hostages uh, were considered humanitarian cases. I mean, after being in the tunnels there under the ground for a year and 3 months, they're all humanitarian cases. And for the 33, we're going to release 1,000 terrorists, which is crazy. The whole country is now in an uproar, and there are people who are saying that we should either get all of them, but not just a part of them. Then there are others who are saying we should take whatever we can get. And then there are those who are saying there should be no hostage exchange, but destroy Hamas with a military attack. Um, and then we have a problem here with our military that the top echelons, not the soldiers are great, but the top generals are dragging their feet and not doing their job. Um, with President Truman, President Truman fired General MacArthur.
I
because
remember.
yeah, because MacArthur was basically undermining what the civilian president Truman was demanding and going in another direction. He got fired. But here in Israel, the military leadership is in cahoots with the top court people. Turns out now the news every day we're discovering all kinds of corruption with the Supreme Court in Israel. And it seems like a lot of our judges have to be fired and put in jail. So the whole thing is that Israel is run by a mafia, and the military, it does whatever it wants, and the judges do whatever they want, and the bureaucrats do whatever they want. And let me just say, I'm praying for Netanyahu. He has such a heavy load, and I'm praying for God to give him the strength and the health to overcome these crazy bureaucrats who will destroy Israel unless they are removed from power. These are people who have not been elected. They've been selected, and we have a problem here. And we have a attorney general whose son stole a ceramic military vest from another soldier going out to guard duty or military action. And she was in cahoots behind the scenes to cover it up. She should also be going to jail. I'm talking about the top legal people in the Israeli government are all corrupt, and they're all connected with the left. So I don't know. We're going to see what's going to happen in the next few weeks. But all I can say is I get very, very depressed from watching the news. We had some highs 2 months ago where we basically crunched, destroyed, not destroyed, but defeated Hezbollah in Lebanon. We never would have believed that Syria would overthrow Bashar al-Assad. But instead, the Turks sent in Sunni Muslim terrorists to replace the Shiite Muslim terrorists. The Houthis are sending in missiles. They woke me last night. There was a missile up in the stratosphere over Israel, and the whole country hears it. The whole country hears the missiles exploding with the interceptions, and big missiles. And The Israelis tried 2 or 3 times to bring the missile down till they finally got it. So that's with what's happening in with Yemen. We now one thing they're not talking about in the media is that we are not getting the computer chips for our aircraft to fly. So our entire Air Force is grounded by Biden. Biden is not allowing us to get the computer chips. All I can say is we are all counting the days, the hours, and the minutes until Trump comes in. I don't know how much better Trump will be because people are saying, oh, he's a businessman and he will be bought out by the Muslims and by the one world government. And there's all this talk about Trump really not being such a hot item as we all thought he was. But definitely better than Biden. This is horrible, horrible what the Democrats are doing to Israel. The Muslims are saying that California is going up in flames because Allah is punishing them. And there are Jewish people who are saying that California is going up in flames because God is punishing them for being anti-Israel, being Democrats. So there are all kinds of different explanations as to things that are going on. All I can say is I'm just very depressed. I'm not happy that California is going up in flames. I mean, but Newsom and the mayor of LA are complete idiots. DEI and cancel and woke. And the only thing I can say is I'm increasing my prayers to God that God will save the U.S. and God will save Israel, and that the leaderships in both countries will do the right thing. I will say I'll be very happy if our 33 hostages come home free. The question will be then what's going to happen with Gaza. But again, remember, we are in a distinctly better situation today than 2 or 3 months ago. Hamas has been ground down. Hamas cannot return to what it was. It'll be a terrorist organization, but Israel can always go back into Gaza in spite of whatever we said or agreed upon. Hezbollah has been neutralized pretty much. Syria, like I said before, the terrorists who were Shiites have been defeated, and now we have the terrorists who are Sunnis coming in. The Houthis are sending missiles every night. And finally, we have Iran. But we can't do anything with Iran because President Biden won't give us the chips for our aircraft to fly. The Air Force has American planes. These planes every week have to have the chips replaced. So if we don't get the chips replaced after 1 week, the Air Force is grounded. So this is thank you, Mr. Biden. Completely corrupt Democrat Party. And they are not working for the good of Israel. So we're going to see where all of this is going. I don't know what else to tell you. Christians are being slaughtered in Nigeria. They're being persecuted in Pakistan and Indonesia, and nobody's saying anything about that. So pretty much, I think that's the opening. There isn't very, very much more that I can say as a frontal presentation. So I will just say whoever wants to ask questions should be free to ask questions. I know Lori, when she's online with us, she always has questions, but I see Angela. Angela usually likes to ask questions.
Hi, Avi, it's Elizabeth. Can you hear me?
Yes, this is, who is this?
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth in Odessa, Texas.
Yes. How are you?
Good, considering everything. We're fine. The kids are fine. The grandkids are fine. I wish I could say the great grandkids are fine, but that's not yet. So
Yeah. So you said that because Biden won't release the chips for you all to use in your Air Force, that you'll be grounded?
We are grounded until 6 days from now, until Trump comes in.
Oh my gosh.
So Israel is treading water for now. Um, but like I said before, Gaza has been defeated. It's just the problem is that the cancer comes back if it's not completely eliminated. So
Right.
we are having to allow a respite in the chemotherapy in order to get our people back. That's such a tragedy, the kidnapping of innocent civilians. But I think that after 42 days, uh, they're going to do some shenanigans and we're going to go back into Gaza again.
Yes. That is so awful to hear. I can't even explain or express my disappointment in what you talked about, the corruption of your government being revealed more and more every day, and people in these higher positions that are so corrupt. It just takes your breath away how God is revealing how corrupt and sinister all these people are that we didn't even realize, and how they're destroying everything. You know, Biden is destroying everything in his path right now before Trump comes in. It's just like he's gone crazy even more so, and just destroying everything before Trump gets in. Trump will have quite a mess to clean up when he gets in.
It's not just Biden.
Right.
Newsom in California and the mayor of Los Angeles uh,
Yes.
created the perfect storm. The destruction of so many areas in the Los Angeles metropolitan area. This is not just Biden. It's the whole mentality of California liberals. I hate to use the word liberals because originally the meaning of the word liberal was a very positive thing. Liberal with a small L, but liberal with a capital L are sick people. And I don't know, we're watching it from here. Uh, I'll tell you something which may shock you. You know, normally here in Israel, we're asking for people in America, Jews and Christians, to financially support Israel. You know what we're doing now? We're supporting the people in California whose houses all burned down. So Israel is now supporting California. Uh,
Oh,
so we're going to have to see what happens with all these people who lost their homes. I think maybe it's one of God's ways to say to the Jewish people, go home to Israel. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to say. We are watching very carefully uh, plans by the Muslims to either take over America or destroy America. And there are now so many reports which are being squelched about people out there, arsonists, setting off the fires in Los Angeles. It's not something that happened by mistake. It's something was done by plan. But nobody dares to say the Muslims did it. And but there are many people who have been documented and arrested for pouring gasoline on those fires in California. Um, you can't touch the Muslims. Everything is hate speech, hate speech. You know, I'm an expert in hate speech. I got a 3-year jail sentence in Switzerland for telling the truth. But they made me famous with that 3-year jail sentence, so it's okay. I'm here in jail with my wife. You know, she keeps me behind bars. And but like I said, you know, it doesn't matter what she calls me as long as she calls me to come to eat.
oh,
By the way, just to tell you, I'm thinking of coming out to Odessa in probably around mid-March.
oh, okay, good.
So Odessa, Big Spring, maybe Amarillo, I don't know. My plan is to transfer all of my books from 2 storage areas out to the area of Bentonville, Arkansas. So I also have new churches in our Bentonville area. So it's going to be a very, very packed 2 months. So we'll see where all that goes.
Yeah, let us know so we can yeah, we want to see you for sure,
Yeah.
always.
So I love Texas and I love Florida. So I love everything in the United States. I suppose I see Claire is there. I suppose I'd love going to Malta if I was invited, but
Well, I've always invited you. You're welcome anytime. You know that.
yes. So probably Malta will be on the firing line when I come back. I have to finish the business in the States because I've got to get all my merchandise sent over to a new area
Yeah.
and save myself $500 a month. I know for all of you, $500 a month is nothing, but for me, it's a lot.
Oh.
So I'm going to get everything straightened out, and we'll see what happens. I'm my yesterday I had lunch with my wife and my two sons, and my younger son Yaakov said to me, I was talking about I want to go here, I want to go there, and my son said to me, "You're not going anywhere. I don't see you traveling at the end of January. Something's going to happen big, and you're going to be stuck in Israel for another few months or a year." So we'll see whatever happens with President Trump.
So will he just start? Because it's Monday, isn't it? Next Monday. So technically, he will just take over Monday. Is that how it works in America?
Yeah. Well, you heard what I said, that Israel's aircraft cannot take off because we're not being
Yeah.
given chips that we need for our aircraft computers. And,
Mm.
Biden wants to make sure that we are totally powerless until he's out
Yeah.
of the White House.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what President Trump has in mind for all of us.
Mm. Yeah.
But on the positive side, we have to say, nobody in a million years would have imagined Bashar al-Assad falling from power and the Shiites being overthrown. Oh, again, they're replaced by some pretty horrible Sunni ISIS-type terrorists. And the Turks are now coming into play. So that's not good news. But we finished one enemy, and now a new enemy pops up. My belief is that the day will come that the Kurds in eastern part of Syria will break away from Syria, and then the Kurds in Turkey will break away from Turkey, and they'll form one big country. And the feeling is they cannot establish a state if they don't have some kind of an air route for their passenger planes and other planes. So my feeling is, this will sound completely crazy, but you know me, everything I say is crazy. But I think there will be some kind of a air route to fly over eastern Syria, directly over to Israel, and then fly out to the Mediterranean. Israel also has a problem with the Turks regarding our rights to fly, in the air routes there. But I think we're going to see a very radical change in the map of Syria, of Iraq, of Iran, of Turkey. You're talking about somewhere between 40 to 50 million Kurds. And all the countries that persecute them don't realize that there's going to be a new giant in the area called Kurdistan. And the Kurds, there's a mixed record with Israel and the Jews, but the record primarily is positive. Um, so I think we're going to see at the end of the day good news, but Israel is really being tested, and we're losing. We're losing good people. We've lost 840 soldiers in the last year and 3 months. 840 soldiers for Israel is like, 500,000 American soldiers dying. So it's a big price to pay. So another problem is the Egyptian army. The Egyptian army is building up its forces. It has really no enemy except for Israel. So that if it's their fantasy to attack Israel, they're going to do it, and we're going to have to fight them too. And I think the answer to that will be Ezekiel 29. So you might as well go check that out. So it'll be from the Nile to the Euphrates at the end of the day. Why? Not because Avi Lipkin says it, but because God says it in the Bible.
Ezekiel 29.
Yeah, the last verse in Ezekiel 28, and then it goes straight on to Ezekiel 29.
Mm-hmm.
What it says basically is that Egypt will become a desolation from Aswan to Migdol. Migdol is the Mediterranean, and Aswan is where the Aswan Dam is. I mean, there was no dam during the Bible times, but it says Sayin. Sayin is Aswan. So something that never, ever happened with Egypt is going to happen. And it's a prophecy. It's a prophecy we haven't seen yet. If you look at the map of Iran, Iran is made up of many, many different groups, 50% Persian and 50% minorities. The 50% Persian, they are called in the Bible Elam or Elam. And it says they're going to be destroyed too. Iran, I don't want Iran to be destroyed. I think, Iran is potentially an ally of Israel. But that's what it says in Isaiah. So we have to watch all these different countries, how they grow and how they come down. But I think the Kurds are going to be holding our hands in the future. We're going to be together. Kurds are not enemies of Israel at all. And I personally don't know the connection between the Kurds and Israel, but I do know that there are many examples of Israelis in Kurdistan helping them develop their country. But what they need is they need a secure air route to fly their planes in and out of Kurdistan. And I would say probably, 1 second, Glenn Howard, Avi, are you seeing a change in attitude of the Jews living in California as they experience the fires? But just finishing with the Kurdish idea, the Kurds, I think, are the greatest nation on earth that have no country. They are divided up into 4 countries, I think maybe 5. I think there's some Kurds in South Russia also. Regarding Pastor Glenn Howard's question, when we look back at the 1930s in Germany, there were so many good smart German Jewish people who just would not believe. After they served in the German army in World War I, they could not believe the metamorphosis that took place in Germany with the anti-Semites taking over. Many, many Jewish war veterans of Germany in World War I committed suicide. They said, it can't be, it can't be, it can't be. So many Jews committed suicide rather than think that they'd have to leave Germany. And I mentioned something like this previously. My best friend, who's from Pennsylvania, was telling me that there are those Jewish people in Pennsylvania that have told him that they'd prefer to go to gas chambers and not leave Pennsylvania to go to Israel. So I don't know what the situation is with the Jews in California. I think there are 100, 200,000 Jews in California, in Los Angeles. So I would not be surprised if all their houses burn down, that they will just fly from El Al, from Los Angeles and come home. So I personally am very, very optimistic about the population of Israel growing, many Israelis coming home, many Jews coming home. We are now at 10,025,000 population. I've been talking about this for a long time. I think we're going to go up to 20 million population. And as you can see, our grounds have increased. We have a threat up in the air regarding Gaza that we're going to annex Gaza. If we have any real problem with Gaza, we're going to annex it. Our demilitarized border with Syria is full of Israeli troops now. If the Syrians under the Sunni Turkish leadership decide to threaten us or attack us, we're going to annex many parts of Lebanon, many parts of Syria. I'm not saying this as an Israeli representative. I don't represent anyone except myself. But I think we're going to be seeing changes. And indeed, if we have a Kurdistan being born out of all of these wars, our neighbor to the north, northeast, will be Kurdistan. We will be hearing the Kurdish language more than Arabic. I mean, these are crazy things that I'm saying. The Hezbollah in Lebanon are still talking about the fact that they're the ones who are going to expel Israel from Lebanon. Good luck. I don't think that I think the more they act in a crazy, irrational manner towards Israel, the more our borders are going to grow. And I'm going to say something else, which is very crazy. And many people have been attacking me and condemning me here in Israel. I think that if we have 6 million, 7 million, 8 million Jews outside of Israel, and intermarriage with the Christians is about 80%, we're talking about 5, 6 million non-Jews moving to Israel, together with 5, 6, 7 million Jewish people. So indeed, our population will double and maybe triple, going to 20 million, 30 million. Our borders will expand. Our new allies to the northeast will be the Kurds. I'm not saying that I want to see it. I'm just saying I think God is saying it's going to happen, so it's going to happen. So we might as well, we don't tell God what to do. God should be telling us what to do, and that's what those people who see it can see it. But without talking about the Judeo-Christian Bible Block Party, which I'm the founder of and leader of, I think the day will come. I don't know if I'll be alive still at that time, but I think we're going to see many, many Jews and non-Jews, if you want to call them Christians, call them Christians. Many of the Christians, quote unquote, are really not religious at all in any way. Many will convert to Judaism, but the population of Judeo-Christians will increase to 20 million. And don't forget all those Hispanic people who were forced to convert to Catholicism in 1492. We may be seeing 30 million population. So Israel will become basically a populous country, a world power. And like I said before, the borders are going to be from the Nile to the Euphrates. My worst enemy is the Jewish mother, because the Jewish mother will say, hey, I don't want my kids doing guard duty on the Nile River, or doing guard duty in Mecca, or doing guard duty in Syria or Iraq or wherever. But I believe it's a reality. It's a possibility that this will happen. So Israel's population is growing. The borders are growing. Are we depressed about the 32 hostages only coming home? Of course we're depressed. Do we have corruption? Of course we have corruption. But you have to remember that Israel's leadership has been solidly socialist from day one, which is over 100 years ago. I don't know. I mean, since 1920, the socialists have been in rock solid control, and there's no room for any kind of, how shall I say, there's no room for any right-wing or non-socialist people who are not part of the power structure. There's no sharing, no possibility of sharing with us, with what they call the second tribe. Second tribe are the people like me who cannot get a job in Israel and who were fired everywhere we went because we were not socialists. So I think, I don't know how much more time God has given me, but as long as I can do these Zooms, I'm going to give you the updates, and you're going to see. I think for those of you who have been watching the Zooms for the last 2 years, you see things I didn't dream or have a nightmare about October 7th, but look what happened. God made Pharaoh's heart stubborn, and they attacked us, and they killed 2,000 of our people. So now we see what's growing out of this horrible attack, Holocaust type attack by Gaza Hamas. It affected Lebanon, affected Syria, affected the Houthis in Yemen. It's going to affect Syria and Iran, maybe Iraq also. Again, if the Kurds have their state, everything changes in the Middle East. The whole Sykes-Picot is ancient history.
Avi, when are they meant to be releasing the hostages?
According to the news, it may even be it'll be like 3 or 4 hostages every week, starting a week from now. So we're going to be, taking back the 33 people in the next 42 days in stages, and releasing 1,000 Arab terrorists. We have a lot more than that in our jails. So we're going to have to see who we're releasing, where are they going, how will we catch them the next time they try to do terrorism against us. Hi, Bracha. Will the release of terrorists be in stages also, Bracha asks? The answer is yes. Every Jewish hostage or every one of the hostages we bring home will mean 30 terrorists being released. So, for example, 3 come out, then 90 or 100 terrorists come out.
Thank you.
I'm not happy about that, Avi.
Nobody's happy about
It's
that, but
disgusting. Hamas
that's
have not moved an inch and they want to stay where they are and go back in and be compensated. And where will they release them to? They can't be released into Judea and Samaria, or they're it's just not on.
I think that the agreement is that the hardcore terrorists coming out of the jails will be sent abroad to Turkey or Libya or other countries that will take them.
Mm,
But I will also say that if these terrorists are sent to all these countries all over the world, the writing is on the wall for the Jewish people.
yeah. And these are the
Jewish
most severe people. They've got life sentences for the most horrific murders.
Right.
And they're demanding their release over innocent, 30 of them for every one innocent young girl. Or it's disgusting. And Trump has not enforced anything on Hamas. I'm just a bit at a loss to think to what to think about this. It's not. Why should Israel always have to concede? It's unfair, and it's not justice. I don't think Trump has done very much
Well,
that we can.
Trump did very much for us in his first term of office.
Mm,
Now we're looking at the second term, so we'll have to
yeah,
see. But I think if you look around Trump, the advisors surrounding Trump, they are all Bible-believing Christians who support Israel. So I think it's a good sign. If you look
well,
at Biden, all the people surrounding him, very, very horrible
very,
people,
yeah, they're horrible.
including and especially the Jews who supported him.
Mm. Well, we've been praying this morning about it, and hoping he turns up at that Mar-a-Lago prayer breakfast today and tomorrow, and people can get in his ear that know what's going on. Good people like Michelle Bachmann and that. But yeah, I'm just watching with horror at this latest suggestion. Obviously, we want those hostages out. We want them all out. It's horrific.
Correct.
Horrific.
Correct.
Just pray so much for the poor families. I don't know how they're surviving with this psychological pressure on them.
I have to say that changing the subject a little bit, in spite of the horrible price that we have to pay,
Mm,
One second, Claire. I see you're writing. Christine Darg will be there at the breakfast. When is the breakfast? Where?
Today, Mar-a-Lago in Florida.
Ah, in Florida. Okay.
Yeah, Jerusalem
Yeah.
prayer breakfast.
Well, she's the right lady in the right place at the
Yeah,
right.
we're praying.
Yeah,
We've been
with
praying
Peter.
that she will get the opportunity, but
Yeah.
whether he turns up or not is another thing. But
Getting back to what I was about to say,
yeah,
the Israeli economy is doing remarkably well in spite of the war. And when you think for a moment, all the tens of thousands of immigrants coming into the country, immigration is good, especially Jewish immigration of people coming home to Israel, with some people who are not Jewish even or part Jewish. So I'm very optimistic in the long run, but I look at the news in the short run and it's depressing because nobody wants to pay such a high price.
yeah.
And we're going to pay the high price, but we're going to get some of our people back. You know, in Judaism, we say every human being is a world unto himself or herself. So,
And, yep. Thank you, Avi.
questions. Ask me for whatever I can tell you.
Okay, I'm asking a question. I don't know anything about it, but what's going on with Russia and Ukraine and China?
Good question. Good question. To tell you the truth, I don't know. The Russians have now surpassed over 800,000 dead Russian soldiers.
Mm.
And he has not achieved anything. Now the Koreans North
Oh,
Koreans,
Korean. Oh, yeah, Korean. Yeah.
and I heard that there were 2 North Koreans who were taken prisoner by the
Oh,
Ukrainians,
yeah.
and they are releasing very important information about the Russian military. Um, they, forgive me for using a bad word. They're basically cannon fodder, and the Russians are throwing in any cannon fodder that they can. And I know I have no connection to North Koreans, but my heart is bleeding for them too, because they're just being sent straight into the hail of bullets and bombs. The question is, can the Russians win this? I don't think so. I think in the end, Trump is going to come in and force everyone to cut a deal. This cannot continue.
Mhm.
I don't know if he'll succeed because the Ukrainians are not going to want to concede anything. Because their land, according to the 1953 agreement with Russia, the Kush-Fali, says that this belongs now to the Republic of Ukraine. The Russians say, well, if Ukraine broke away from the Soviet Union, then the land has to come back to Russia. So according to the Russian logic, the Russians are right. But the people who live in the Ukraine don't want to go back to Russia. Neil Johnson, do you think the Christians will again repeat? You said something about the Templars. I think you're talking about the pretty ancient history, because the Templars did immigrate in large numbers to the Holy Land during the Crusades. I don't think that the Israeli government would tolerate that. I think what we're looking at least in the first stage, is Christians who are married or non-Jews who are married to Jews, and to see what they can contribute to the country. I'll say something that gets me into a lot of trouble, and that is, I think Christians are simply an offshoot of the Jews. But the problem is there are many Christians who want to kill the Jews or want to be superior to the Jews. So the new ground rules for the game is that Israel is a sovereign country, and we're not going to bring in Christians who are hostile to Israel. We're going to bring in Christians who want to be part of the future. And the Messiah we Jews don't know who the Messiah is, but we know that the Messiah is a Jew from Israel who speaks Hebrew. And so if a German Templar comes in and ich bin Deutscher, that's not going to be the Messiah. So we have to find a dialogue with non-Jews. And like I said before, those who want to convert should not face stumbling blocks from rabbis. But those who do not want to convert, they should be respected as people who believe in their form of Judaism. How's that to get me into trouble? I only meant such as. Oh, yeah, such as the Templars. Okay, I understand. I have to tell you, Neil, that indeed there are many children of German soldiers of World War II and SS, and they came to live in Israel and converted to Judaism and apologized for what the Nazis did to the Jewish people. So that might be so. We have a lot of children of former anti-Semites in Eastern Europe, Western Europe. So I think it'll be interesting to see, considering the terrible fires in California. I think there are going to be non-Jews who are going to say, you know what, the Jews have something. We have to be with them. I pray for America. All the bad things have not happened to America, but there are a lot of people out there who want to destroy America. So I'm praying for America. I'm praying for Israel. Very good questions, everyone.
Avi, how are things with Judea and Samaria just now?
Very good question. Very hard question to answer. We may be seeing a ceasefire with Gaza, but there is no such thing as a ceasefire with Judea and Samaria Arabs. And as you know, Aaron lives in one section and Yaakov lives in another section, my two sons, and we live in another section. And we are all armed and ready to defend ourselves. One of the reasons I haven't come to the States in 2 years is because, and doing these Zooms is because I feel this is my way of holding down the fort. And so we're all here. I met someone from the security here in Kedar says the Arabs would never want to mess with Kedar, my neighborhood, because almost everyone is police or military, and there's so many guns in this community that the Arabs would not want to attack Kedar. But we do have a problem, I would say a lot more of a problem in Samaria, where you have a lot of terrorists who have been armed from Iran. And I think my son Aaron would be much better at explaining it, but we do have a problem with terrorism. I have a best friend from Pennsylvania, and I have a best friend here in Israel. And the one in Israel, his wife lost two girlfriends in their 70s in Kedumim. So it's a very terrible time for my best friend's wife, losing two close friends who are neighbors. So the terrorists, listen, the same evil ideology of kill the Jew, kill the Jew, kill the Jew. And the Iranians are pumping them up with weapons and cash coming across the Jordanian border. This war is a seven-front war. It's Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, the Houthis, and Judea and Samaria. Okay, Nelda says that in the reports she's getting, there's talk about chaos in Israel. Yes, there are demonstrations on the highways now. It used to be the demonstrations were from the left. Now the demonstrations are from the right. Israel is like a ship in a stormy ocean. So we're bouncing around a lot. If you suffer from seasickness, you shouldn't be in the ship. But a lot of our people are in chaos now. My fear, the worst fear I had, was a civil war between right wing and left wing. So I don't know. I'm one of those who says, well, a Jew never lifts up his hand against another Jew. Until now, we have been very careful about that, not to let that happen. When you have diabetes too, like I have, you have to drink a lot of seltzer water. That's what I do. And if I don't drink the right things, my wife kills me. So I want to live. Next question. Don't be ashamed.
Do you have any updates on Al-Jilani in Syria and what's happening there?
Well, what I have until now is that the U.S., I don't know, the U.S., France, who else? Another country from the West has gone to Damascus to meet with him. He is desperately seeking recognition from Western countries. Don't forget, the Russians don't like him. Chinese don't like him. His only support could possibly come from the West. A lot of the people from the West are afraid to receive him because a lot of his people are ISIS.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are picking on Christians, Shiites. There are no more Jews really in Syria.
Mhm.
Um, I've learned that there are some Druze living in Damascus. So, everybody is being very careful and very, how shall I say, respectful of everyone else. Until now, Jelani has things, I would say, pretty much under control. But Israel is not budging an inch until we are sure that we have some kind of a real peace agreement with Syria.
Yeah.
Glenn Howard, Pastor Glenn, several years ago, my friend Avi Lipkin, that's me, suggested that the nation of the north in Ezekiel would be, I was always saying it was Turkey. If you want, I'll give you a very brief summary of why I say that. Uh, the Soviet Union, Chuck Missler used to say Soviet Union was the Gog and Magog. Soviet Union was 350 million population, of which 200 million were Muslims. When the Soviet Union got dissolved, and then you had all these Muslim republics, the population of Russia was now 150 million Christians. 200 million Muslims were now in the Islamic republics. The Islamic republics now have recognition from Turkey, so that any Turkic Muslim who was formerly a Soviet citizen can now go to Turkey and get a Turkish passport. And that's the reason, I think the main reason, nobody talks about it because it's not politically correct, but that's the main reason why Turkey cannot join the European Union, because that would give the Muslims overnight a majority of Muslim population. And instead of 50 million, they would have 320 million compared to 300 million Christians, or shall I say non-Muslims. Once that happens, then Israel is in very big danger. The Europeans are in very big danger. So I don't think Russia is the Armageddon, though you still have a very large Muslim minority in Russia, the Russian federated federal Russia. And when I was in Moscow, I spoke about this on Radio Moscow. I said that, Israel is not your enemy, America is not your enemy, Europeans and the British are not your enemy. The enemy of Russia is the Turks. And you've been fighting the Turks for 1,000 years. So, those people who love to study the Bible can see patterns. And the pattern now is that Turkey is trying to resume its rise to power as a caliphate, and to use Jelani in Syria to come all the way down to the Israeli border and attack from the north. So that could be depressing. That could be something we have to be very concerned about. But from what I see at this stage, the Russians are not the enemy of Israel. Putin, by the way, with all his faults, and he has a lot of faults, but Putin is basically pro-Jewish and pro-Israeli. It's just, he goes by Russia first. He's kind of like a Russian Trump. I mean, there are many, many differences between Putin and Trump, but Trump loves the Jews and Putin loves the Jews. But of course, they put the Russia and the United States first. So, all these things we have to watch very closely, pay very close attention to all of this. Bracha, are you aware of a post on January 8th by Iran's IRB TV3 that quoted in the coming hours? I don't know what was said the coming hours. If you want to speak up, Bracha, you can complete it or type it in. I don't know what was said, and that's maybe I know, but you have to remind me what the context was.
Yes, it was, I don't know how reliable this is, but it said, in the coming hours, the world will witness unusual scenes and developments. And there was some talk that there may be a connection between this post and the potential arsonists in California.
Could be. Listen, there are a lot of people who hate America. America is the great Christian Satan in the eyes of these people. And one of the things that I'm always saying, and a lot of people, poo-poo it, is that the Jews and the Christians are attached at the hip. And anyone who wants to destroy the great Satan in America will want to destroy the small Jewish Satan in Israel and vice versa. So that's why I'm so surprised that Biden is so obtuse and the Democrats are so obtuse that they don't realize the great danger that they are in, and that by trying to pacify Iran, it's only whetting their appetite for more antipathy to the United States. And I pray for America. I love America. I'm sad. I'm sad that you've got people who are in positions of power who could just be so stupid.
But I don't think that they are the real people. I think they've been taken out or they've been put somewhere. They don't look the same. They're not, in my eyes, who they say they're representing. Not that Biden was good anyway. I really don't know. But not just him, but many people around the world aren't the real people anymore. That's what I believe.
Yeah, you're talking about the globalists.
Yeah, about Biden, about just key people, that all of a sudden look different, like Bill Gates's wife that looks like a man, or they're not the same. You can look at them from 5-10 years ago and now, and they're like a different person. They don't even look similar.
You mean they've been replaced by
Yeah.
I
Sorry. Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's what I believe anyway.
I mean, I look at Zuckerberg, and forgive me for saying it, but he looks like an alien got off a spaceship.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Any more questions?
I haven't got a question as such, but I just want to highlight what's going on in the UK. The Labour don't want to go against any of these grooming gangs. It comes down on Keir Starmer or whatever he's called. And all these Labour people have voted against looking into it. There's one that they've just let out. It's an MP of Rotherham, and anyone that knows England knows that Rotherham and the North are really bad with what's happening to the white girls. He got 3.5 years for raping a 9-year-old boy, and he's quietly been let out after 6 months. It's really bad what's going on over there. And yeah. So I know it's not about the UK, but yeah, it's so bad. with the
Well,
grooming gangs.
all I can say, when I was in the UK a few years ago, all the cab drivers were Pakistani, so it
Yeah,
was a little scary for me.
yeah,
Uh,
no, it is.
because they were all interrogating me. Who am I? Where am I going? And
Yeah,
so I played kind of like stupid American, so that they get off my case. Nobody understood really that I was from Israel. But
yeah.
I noticed that Neil wrote something, Neil Johnson. But again, it cuts off halfway through the text. So if you want to talk about that, if you can get on with voice, then we'll hear what you have to say.
Simply that from a webinar yesterday that I attended, they said that Biden et al., his cronies, whomever they are, know absolutely what they are doing. It's not, don't they know? It's, yes, they do know. It's by design, and they hope will have ramifications for their intended effort.
What I'm afraid of is assassination of President Trump, or even a civil war in the States. Americans that I've spoken to, I work with the militias, I work with the right-wing Americans. One of them was a neo-Nazi, and I didn't know he was a neo-Nazi until the end of the conversation. But he said that, when we get the orders, we're going to kill all the Jews in America. I mean, that's the end of America. So it could be that there are people who want to see the end of America with Muslims killing the Jews, neo-Nazis killing the Jews, Black Lives Matter killing the Jews, and of course, Antifa killing the Jews. So it could be indeed that there is a worldwide plan by the globalists to bring America down. It's one of the reasons why I still insist on going to America to speak to whomever will listen to me. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm an American patriot, but I say things that no one else says. And so here on this Zoom, I don't know who's listening now. Very few people are listening. But when I go to different churches and I meet different pastors and different radio and TV shows that I can do when I'm there. And so that's why I feel I have to go to the States. So we shall see if I go to the States in a few weeks or not. Some people are saying to me, don't go, it's too dangerous for you.
Avi,
Yeah.
in Lebanon, is the Israeli government pulling the IDF back from certain territories there, rather than securing territory all the way to Litani River and securing around like a belt around Galilee? Are they pulling back from that, or?
Well, I'll say something. I don't know if it's worth anything, what I'm going to say, but originally the plan was that the Israeli military would reach the Litani River, which is about 7, 8 miles north, and sit there on the river. And there is a part of the river near Nabatea that we did cross, and I don't know if we're there still, but we have to be there because of Metula. Metula is being slammed with the rockets all the time. That'll stop with the ceasefire. But Israel did withdraw from a great part of the territory south of the Litani. And I'll be very cynical now. I think that the Israeli military did it on purpose to prove that Hezbollah is still there. Hezbollah still will attack us. Yesterday, I don't know if it was reported in your news. I don't think it was reported, but Israel attacked 5 very important ammunition depots in the south of Lebanon, and the rockets were set up and armed and ready to be fired at Israel. So it's like, sometimes you allow the enemy to get closer so that you have more proof for what eventually we're going to do. And so the 60-day ceasefire ends on the 26th in 2 weeks. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the ceasefire will be extended for maybe 30 to 60 more days because the Lebanese army is not capable of doing the job. So Israel is going to have to stay in Lebanon. We may have pulled back somewhat to more, how shall I say, more feasible borders. But any attack by Hezbollah will require Israel to go back into Lebanon full strength, which would make the Christians, the Druze, and the Sunnis very happy to weaken the Hezbollah even more.
Yeah, because you're going to have to stay there with Giuliani in Syria and designs on taking Lebanon
Yeah. Well,
backed by Turkey.
I don't think the Syrians want to take Lebanon. I think July
Mm,
wants to be very low key for quite a while until he gets recognition from the world.
right.
And so, we're all very, very careful. It says we are stepping on eggshells.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And of course you've got that missile from Yemen landed on a
Yeah,
roof.
we're getting them every night. I'm here in Kedar, halfway to the Dead Sea,
Mm,
and I was awakened by a boom. And at 2:18 in the morning, I always look at the clock to see what time. That's the time that they send their missiles.
hmm
Um, if we have a ceasefire with Gaza, it'll be interesting to see if the Houthis
Stop, yeah.
stop. Yeah, we'll see.
Mm, okay.
There are lots of variables in the equation.
And is there any update on Iran and the nuclear situation?
On
How far?
the nuclear situation, no, but I do know that there are more and more violent demonstrations in the streets of Iran. They don't have water, they don't have electricity. Because they don't have electricity, the factories are closed, people are not working, people are not getting their salaries. The universities are closed. No electricity, they can't have classes. So the situation is getting worse and worse and worse in Iran. So, I think excuse the expression, the wet dream of Israel, maybe America also, is of a revolution in Iran, which would mean we don't need to attack Iran. So we shall see. We shall see where this is going. If the Iranian people can rise up and overthrow the Ayatollahs. The
Mm,
problem is that I think it's 30% of the people of Iran are fanatic Muslims who are ready to give up their lives to defend Islam. So, the liberals are the liberals, but they don't have the ideological impetus to fight the regime.
yeah.
Unless Israel and or the United States goes in and takes out the gasoline and oil reserves and the nuclear program. So we're living in the Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. We live in very interesting times.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe you can sorry.
But
Does somebody want to ask a question?
Yes, what does Israel think of Pete Hegseth? They're going to do his confirmation hearing today. And what is your opinion of him?
whose confirmation?
Pete Hegseth?
Oh, yes, I know that. Well, you know what? I know him only from Fox News. And, my fear always is that a lot of these hotshots from TV and everything, they may say one thing, and then once you're in power, you see things differently. I hope he's the right guy. We'll see. There are lots of questions. We don't know.
Oh, yeah.
As they say, stay tuned.
Yes.
Also, very important, next Tuesday, a week from today, I will probably be in Eilat in a hotel. There's a reunion of all the Egyptian immigrants who were in jail in the 1960s. So we're all going to Eilat, but I'll probably go up to my room and use my smartphone because I have a smartphone with the Zoom, and so we can still do the broadcast next week, God willing. If a major war all of a sudden breaks out, I stay home and still do the Zoom, God willing. So I still say I hope we can see all of you next week.
Yes.
I'm wondering about Egypt, Avi, because I know they were amassing some tanks or something on the border with Sinai.
Yes, we are still watching very closely, and we're still hoping that Egypt will, according to the peace agreement, they shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that Egypt would actually pull back. So we'll watch. We'll watch to see what the Egyptians do.
Mm-hmm.
If any of you, for any reason, needs to reach me, you still have my email, vicmore2001@yahoo.com, and you can still write to me, and I'll answer you on an individual basis.
Is that a
So-
different email than you send the reminders out on?
Yes, I write to you with the vicmore2001@yahoo.com.
Okay. Thank you.
Happy belated birthday, Avi.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's good to be 76. For those of you who know America, I'm a 76er. So there's a very famous basketball team in Philadelphia who are called the 76ers. So
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy
Thank you.
belated birthday.
Yes, happy birthday.
thank you very much. Good to be alive. And I'm very pleased that God allows me to continue doing the work that I'm doing. And I hope always to be saying the right things and that God will be pleased with what I'm saying.
Mm.
Amen.
Oh, thank you, Lord.
God bless you.
And I miss you all. And hope to see you all next week.
Yes, hope to see you
Yes.
next week.
Yes.
Looking forward.
Maybe a week after that, I'll be in the United States already.
All right.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be
Of
great.
course.
Maybe in New York.
Yeah.
I would say New York because of the snow, possibility of
Right.
snow. It will be better for me to go to Florida first, and then Texas, and then up to Arkansas, and then maybe leave my car in Arkansas and fly to New York, and from New York fly from Kennedy back to Israel. So we shall see.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Praying for your
Well, we'll
plan.
pray for your safety.
Yeah.
Love you and
Right.
thank you.
Okay, God bless you.
Yes.
Aaron, are you
God
there?
bless you.
God bless you. My father said he would like to meet you.
Well, if I come out to Long Island, we'll do it.
Good. Good.
So you know I'm on Long Island, right?
Yes, he knows. Yeah, he's 89.
Spring chicken.
Wow. He's older than me.
That's it. Yes. He's just been listening for the last couple of weeks, maybe a month.
I
So-
hope he's pleased.
Yes. Yes, he's very happy with the information that you're giving us, and he's working on getting questions up.
Good. Next Tuesday.
Okay. All right. God bless you. May God
bless
give you
everyone.
wisdom and
God-
everything.
God bless you.
Yes.
I just hope
Have a
my,
safe trip.
just hope my son
Happy
is
New
well.
Year.
Happy New Year. A little belated. A little
Yes.
belated. Only good news.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aronchik?
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom to everyone. At some stage, Aaron will turn the taping off. Are you there, Aaron?
Shalom, Avi. God
Okay.
bless.
It's
Watch
popped
and
to the
Shalom.
pray.
top.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Shalom. Shalom.
Aronchik?
You're not allowed to leave us.
Yeah, right.
I will call my son and see if
We're not leaving you until you leave us.
Yeah, right. Right.
here I'm buzzing my son now. I hope he picks up.
Avi, this is Annette. I want you to know that my niece was by those fires. She had to evacuate, but thank God they spared her and her home.
Aronchik? Finished. So that bye. God protect her with the fires there.
She's been
Yes.
helping other people. She's been helping people get stuff that they don't have. She lost friends though. Some of her friends died.
By the way, I love California. The only problem with California is being destroyed by the Democrats. But other than that, hopefully
Yeah.
they'll have a revival.
Yeah, we need a
Yes.
revival. They need a revival.
Okay.
I believe they're having it.
Shalom to everyone.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Or as they say in Texas, shalom, y'all.
Yes.